character was the Cookie Monster. And like him, I'm sure we can all eat a few cookies, but how many of us know how to bake them? Sure, you could cheat and go to Publix and buy a box of their bakery cookies, or you could learn to make them on your own, and then you could enjoy them fresh out of the oven, and you could even change up the recipe a little bit to make it your own, which is what I do whenever I bake. I'll find a recipe, I'll try it out, and then I'll say, well, this could use a little more of this or a little less of this, and then I'll make it my way. Today I'm going to tell you how to bake the best chocolate cookie, all thanks to a little mistake. Before you can learn to bake a chocolate chip cookie, you should know how it originated and who originated it. This history isn't a long one, but it's important and interesting. Ruth and Kenneth Wakefield owned a Toll House Inn in Massachusetts. According to the Inventor of the Week archive on MIT's website, the house had originally served as a haven for road-weary travelers. These passengers paid tolls, changed their horses, and ate home-cooked meals. Ruth continued this tradition by serving her guests homemade meals. However, it was her desserts that kept people coming back. Her favorite dessert was the butter drop dew cookie, which she was making for her guests one night. But in the kitchen, she realized she didn't have the baker's chocolate that she needed for the recipe. So she grabbed a Nestle chocolate bar that someone had given her, chopped it into fine pieces, and put it into her dough. She expected it to melt and bake into the dough, but this didn't happen, and the chocolate just became a little bit creamy, but it just held its form. She gave it to her guests anyways, and they loved it. So the recipe ended up in a few of the newspapers around the New England area, and of course, Nestle wanted in on their action. So they made an agreement with Ruth, and it said Nestle would allow to print the Toll House cookie recipe on their package if Ruth received a life-size chocolate, and she agreed to do that. So on Nestle's website, they tell how they began scoring the semi-sweet chocolate bar and packaging it with a special chopper to make it easier for people to cut. Eventually, they got smart about it and decided to make it convenient for their customers, and so they pre-cut the chocolate and packaged it, and that's why we have our chocolate chips today. But baking isn't always as convenient. Everyone should know a few key steps into preparing to bake. The most challenging part is finding a recipe. And this can be intimidating because you have your family recipes, recipes on the internet, and recipes in the cookbook, and it's just hard to know where to start. So I would suggest starting with the well-known recipes, such as the Toll House recipe, because this way, after you master it, you can vary the ingredients, like I said before. I chose to do a chocolate chip cookie recipe adapted from a renowned chocolatier who has restaurants in the Brooklyn and Manhattan area, and this recipe can be found on the New York Times website. The next thing you need to do is read the recipe, because you need to know the ingredients, the tools, and how long it's going to take to bake. Whenever I read the ingredients, I didn't have them all, so I had to go to Publix, and I spent $30 on the ingredients. And that seems like a lot for a batch of cookies, but it's a lot of ingredients. You can make multiple batches, because what I made today is maybe a third of what I could have made, and there's a lot. So then for the recipe, it told me to create 2 separate bowls, some ingredients in one and some in the other. Once I got all the ingredients together, I had to mix it to make the actual dough. And so next I had to add the chocolate chips. And I did 2 kinds. They're both Ghirardelli because they're on sale. But I also varied it because I know some people don't like chocolate. So I put craisins in a little part of the batch, so I have some of those as well today. The next part was the hardest part. I was waiting 24 hours for the dough to set, and I just didn't want to do that because I wanted to eat them. I did try the dough, and it's delicious. So there's that. After the 24 hours are up, you get to bake and eat your cookies. And I usually do this with milk, and I brought milk for those who like milk. If you don't, whenever you get home and you bake these, because I know you will, you can make a cookie sandwich with icing or ice cream, which I've done before, and it's pretty good. But some people don't even like to eat the cookies that they bake. They prefer to give it away to friends, family, or you can donate it. Some even give it to a significant other, and a special occasion isn't required, but Valentine's Day is a week from today, so it's a great time to practice your cookie baking skills. But if you're like me, you don't like to give your cookies away, and you all are lucky that I brought them in today and that they made it here. To end, I would like to thank Ruth Wakefield for the biggest mistake in history. Without without her, we wouldn't be able to enjoy these wonderful cookies. There are other desserts, of course, that we could enjoy, but nothing beats a chocolate chip cookie. And after hearing how the chocolate chip cookie came into existence, I hope all of you enjoy them today after everyone else goes, because I don't want you to be distracted. And then you'll realize that you too can make a cookie easily. Because everyone should try, or at least know how to make a perfect chocolate chip cookie. And even if you make a mistake in the process, it could be a mistake that makes you famous.